about King, right?
Yes.
As much criticism as I receive about my son, I would like to shed light on the fact we all got bad ass kids. Okay, now listen, don't.
A new viral clip of King Harris behind bars is shaking the internet, but that's only half the picture. What really happened off camera is where things get twisted. Don't blink, because the next part of this story changes everything you thought you knew. Untouchable illusion.
T.I.'s son, King Harris, has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected to his actions. Put up the picture for Mass. I actually feel
King Harris was never just another celebrity kid. He was the prototype, the spoiled child of a superstar, born into fame and fortune, and determined to prove that he could outshine even his father's legendary shadow. Raised in mansions, surrounded by luxury, and fed on applause, King quickly became addicted to spectacle. To him, chaos wasn't danger, it was content. He wasn't living life, he was performing it. Flashy Instagram lives, endless parties, and flexes of wealth so over the top they made even seasoned rappers raise an eyebrow. His followers didn't just watch, they worshipped him. Every chain, every bottle popped, every reckless joyride was proof that he was living the dream they could only double tap. But the truth, as it turns out, is that King wasn't living a dream. He was sprinting straight into a nightmare. Behind the glossy photos and bravado was a teenager unraveling. The more he acted untouchable, the more desperate he became to prove it. He argued with fans, fought with critics, and dismissed anyone who tried to warn him. Even his father's words, T.I.'s stern warnings about the streets not caring who your daddy is, bounced right off him. In King's mind, fame was armor, and consequences were for regular people.
I don't have no gang. I ain't in no gang. I got family. I got motherfuckers who willing to risk their lives and freedom to die by me and mine. You hear me? Well, don't fucking play with me, man. Don't fucking play with my motherfucking child, nigga. Ever, nigga.
But social media is a double-edged sword. The same fans who cheered his wildness were the first to laugh when it all started to crumble. Every arrest, every mugshot, every courtroom appearance became public domain. His life wasn't a music video anymore. It was a blooper reel broadcast to millions. And still, he smiled. Still, he flexed. Still, he thought the storm couldn't touch him. But when you build your identity on a fantasy, the moment reality catches up, it's brutal. And for King Harris, reality was about to come crashing through that luxury facade like a wrecking ball with no warning and no mercy. Because being untouchable might play well on Instagram, but in the real world, that illusion is just the setup for the fall.
YouTube. We back. This your boy Official Bouncing Jack Dripper on Slim Gang TV. As you guys all know, T.I.'s son King was assaulted while currently being incarcerated. We're gonna run this beautiful bean footage and we're gonna talk about it.
Crash course. October 2024, the day the fantasy crashed headfirst into reality. It started like any other one of King's movie moments. He was behind the wheel of a sports car that probably cost more than most people's homes. Music blasting, phone in hand, adrenaline pumping. His life, as usual, was a highlight reel, but then came the near miss that would rewrite the script. As he swerved recklessly out of a gas station, he nearly collided with a police cruiser. A literal crash course in consequences. The officers, unimpressed by celebrity lineage, pulled him over. What they found wasn't a rapper's son having a night out. It was a walking rap sheet, the smell of marijuana, the glint of a Glock on his hip, the casual smirk of a boy who thought his name would make him invincible. Fashion accessory? One officer allegedly muttered as they confiscated the weapon. No, son, that's a felony. And just like that, the narrative shifted. The tabloids smelled blood and the internet was merciless. Within hours, footage of King in the back of the squad car was everywhere. TikToks, memes, YouTube breakdowns titled From Flex to Felony. Some mocked him, others tried to humanize him. He's just a kid making mistakes. But mistakes don't come with Glock attachments. Behind closed doors, even his family felt the tension. T.I., who'd spent years trying to keep his son grounded, reportedly exploded. "I told him the streets don't love nobody," he'd said in an old clip, and now that quote was being reposted like prophecy fulfilled. The internet loved the irony too much to let it go. But King didn't see irony, he saw an audience. He doubled down, talking tough online, dropping defiant posts, and claiming he'd be fine wherever they put him. Spoiler alert, he wasn't, because the police report didn't care about ego. The court system didn't scroll through Instagram. The law had no filter, no followers, and no forgiveness for arrogance. This wasn't a movie anymore. This was the moment the main character realized he wasn't the hero. He was the cautionary tale.
You not gonna get that from me. You just not. You ain't gonna never get that from me. You can go and catch 1,000 bodies. You still gonna be my son. I ain't finna treat you like, hardened criminal. I don't give a damn what you go out there and do. So you just gonna have to. You just gonna have to. That's what you gonna get from me.
The sentencing was coming, and with it, a reckoning that no amount of swagger could deflect. King Harris's crash course wasn't just about the law. It was about learning the hard way that fame isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card, it's a magnifying glass, and when the heat hits, it burns.
King, have you ever woke up with a roach on your face?
No, that's not the goal.
All right, then. There it goes.
in your ear.
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
had some in the neighborhood with me that broke up with roach in your ear. Y'all want to go to the bando and man my neighborhood? Do y'all want to go to the bando?
Cuffed karma. When the day of sentencing came, the courthouse felt more like a concert venue. Reporters, influencers, cameras flashing. Everyone wanted to see if the Prince of the South would walk out free or fall from grace. The tension was electric, half gossip, half tragedy. And then the gavel hit. The sound was final, like a beat drop that no one wanted to dance to. The judge wasn't swayed by charm, family legacy, or online sympathy. He saw a reckless young man with a pattern of defiance and danger. King Harris wasn't sentenced as T.I.'s son. He was sentenced as a repeat offender who had played too close to the edge for too long. The smirk stayed on his face as he was led away. But the cameras caught something else. A flicker. Not fear exactly, but a kind of shock, as if he'd finally realized the game was over. The cuffs clicked, and suddenly, all those diamond bracelets he used to flaunt seemed like toys compared to the cold steel around his wrists. Social media exploded, trended within hours, along with and. Some pitied him, calling him a product of fame. Others said what everyone was thinking: play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But nothing could have prepared him, or the internet, for what came next. Because just hours after being booked, reports started leaking. Altercation, incident, minor scuffle. The official language was vague, sterile, but the whispers online, they painted a much darker picture. By the time the first grainy video surfaced, King pressed against a wall, hands cuffed, guards scrambling. The illusion was gone. No diamond chains, no flashy grin, just fear, chaos, and karma playing out on camera. And in those few seconds of shaky footage, the world saw it. The humbling of someone who thought he couldn't be touched. The irony was cinematic. The son of a man who'd once rapped about surviving the streets was now struggling to survive behind bars.
So I just want to say this. First and foremost, there's no shame, no embarrassment in getting packed out, getting beat up. As long as you fight, you're respected. Now, did King fight? We don't know. I'm going to tell you my personal opinion about T.I.'s son, King. I think that young brother is a pure bitch, okay?
But was this a random act of violence or something deeper? Was it a message, a setup, a form of street justice that even fame couldn't shield him from? The internet didn't know, but it didn't matter. The memes were made. The hashtags were viral, and King Harris's story had officially shifted from celebrity scandal to cautionary legend.
You already know that when you come to jail, everybody jealous of what you done had in your life. That's just part of the culture. Like, I wish I would have had millionaire parents.
Prison reality. Behind those bars, fame doesn't exist. Money doesn't matter, and last names, no matter how powerful, lose their weight the moment the cell door slams shut. King Harris, once the loudest voice in any room, was now surrounded by silence so thick it could choke. This was no VIP suite, no backstage access. This was a world governed by hierarchy, politics, and pure survival instinct. From the moment King stepped into the intake line, the energy shifted. Inmates stared. Some recognized him. Others didn't care who he was. They just saw fresh meat. A celebrity kid with soft hands and a loud mouth. Perfect target practice. The same bravado that made him an internet star now made him a liability. Inside, confidence reads as challenge, and arrogance is just an open invitation to get checked. Rumors spread fast through the corridors. Some said he mouthed off to another inmate. Others whispered he was targeted for clout, a way for someone inside to make a name by breaking a famous one. It didn't matter which version was true, because by nightfall, the chaos had already begun. The leaked clip didn't lie. It was 30 seconds of pure humiliation. King cornered, cuffed, shoved, and struck as guards scrambled too late to intervene. It wasn't cinematic violence. It was raw, desperate, and devastating. The shouts echoed through the clip like the soundtrack of karma. Outside, social media did what it always does, turn trauma into entertainment. Comments poured in faster than the guards. He wanted to be gangsta. He got the full package. Now he's finally learning what "the streets don't love you" really means. But behind the mockery was something else, a strange unease. Watching a young man fall from arrogance into terror triggered something primal in viewers. It was both satisfying and unsettling, like witnessing a prophecy you hoped wouldn't come true.
T.I.'s son got King Harris and Boosie's son. They talk to the police like the pigs they are. And they finally got a chance to say, all right, we're going to let somebody snatch a knot in their butt. So, ain't no telling what done happened to that boy. You know, and then you got people all over the internet. Everybody know he was served with a silver spoon in his mouth. But you got people on the internet laughing about it.
King's so-called street cred had finally been tested, and the results were brutal. There were no likes, no filters, no followers in that cell, just consequences. For the first time, King Harris was living in a world where his words didn't trend, they got him hurt. And as the news spread, even his biggest fans were forced to confront a painful truth. The same fame that lifted him up had also painted a target on his back. The real world doesn't care about clout. Inside those walls, the only thing that mattered was respect, and King Harris had spent years throwing his away.
Like, I'm the only one on here who got bad-ass kids.
We all go through
You
it.
feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you ain't got no bad-ass kids, you got one and you got lucky. You hear me? Anybody with 3 or more,
multiples,
you got one that you don't know what the hell you gonna do with.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Viral humiliation. The internet didn't just watch the video. It dissected it, frame by frame, as if it were an Oscar-nominated tragedy. Memes were instant. TikTok set the footage to dramatic music. Twitter, or X, for those keeping score, turned into a digital courtroom. Some posts celebrated his downfall, from VIP to Diop. Others went darker, questioning whether the attack was planned. Conspiracy threads mushroomed overnight. Was this a gang initiation? A message to T.I.? A setup from inside the system itself? Nobody had answers, but everyone had theories. Meanwhile, the Harris family tried to go into damage control mode. T.I., visibly furious, went silent on social media, only breaking that silence to post a cryptic quote: "You can't protect someone from themselves forever." The message was vague but heavy, part heartbreak, part resignation. Pamela, King's mother, was spotted outside their Atlanta home, sunglasses failing to hide her tears. Paparazzi turned her grief into headlines. T.I.'s family in crisis after King's jail attack, and if that wasn't enough, hip-hop commentators and YouTubers swarmed the moment like vultures. Everyone wanted to profit off the pain. The footage itself was re-uploaded so many times that major platforms had to start removing copies for graphic content. But the damage was done. Once the internet sees you broken, it never forgets. Every punch, every shove, every muffled shout became permanent digital graffiti carved into his legacy. And perhaps the cruelest part? The same fans who once worshipped him as King the Savage were now laughing, remixing the footage into mock music videos, setting it to his own old songs. The fall from arrogance to agony became its own form of entertainment. But not everyone joined the mockery. A smaller, quieter corner of the internet started asking the hard questions. Why was a non-violent offender placed in general population? Why were guards slow to intervene? And most importantly, how did footage from inside a secure facility leak so quickly?
Oh, the dynamics here are interesting, but I can't judge how the parenting is gone, because everything that we've seen has been stuff that many of us would have said or similar if we saw our children do this. But I will say this: a lot of what's happening is because it's in the public. Like most children don't have to do this in the public.
Theories brewed like wildfire. Some said the video was leaked deliberately to humiliate, to teach a lesson, to make an example out of a celebrity inmate. Others whispered that this wasn't about King at all. It was about his father, that the sins of the father had finally come home to roost in the form of a brutal warning. Whatever the truth, the outcome was undeniable. King Harris was no longer a symbol of youthful rebellion. He was the internet's latest cautionary headline, a living, breathing reminder that fame can't buy freedom and ego can't buy safety.
Steve Sadar reached out to me looking to make a deal on behalf of T.I. and Tiny. And I told Steve Sadar that my clients want justice. So if the deal involves Tiny and T.I. turning themselves in and admitting to the crime that they've committed, then fine, we got a deal. But if it does not, then I would prefer to have the investigators do their work and to bring criminal charges against Tiny and T.I. For what they've done throughout the years.
Family fallout. If the internet was chaotic, the Harris household was volcanic. Inside the mansion that once symbolized Atlanta royalty, tension filled every room. T.I. was furious, pacing, slamming phones, demanding answers. "I told that boy," he reportedly shouted. "I told him." Years of frustration had finally boiled over. The patriarch who once ruled the rap game was now facing a father's worst nightmare, watching his son's public collapse play out in real time, with millions judging every second. Insiders claim T.I. blamed himself, then the system, then King, then back again. The cycle of guilt and anger never stopped. Pamela, on the other hand, was heartbroken. Friends said she barely ate, barely slept. Her son's mistakes weren't just tabloid material, they were open wounds. She blames the fame, one anonymous friend whispered. She says he was raised on attention, not reality. And while the family grieved, the world debated. Talk shows, podcasts, and online panels turned King's downfall into moral discourse. Is celebrity parenting to blame? Is the rap lifestyle glorifying destruction? Every opinion piece felt like a dissection of not just King, but black celebrity culture itself. Then came the wave of rappers and influencers weighing in. Some offered sympathy, others threw shade. One rival rapper tweeted, "You can't flex forever, karma undefeated." Another posted, "T.I. built a kingdom and forgot to teach the prince how to survive." It was open season on the Harris name. Every old clip of King arguing online, every live session where he bragged about being built for the streets, resurfaced like ghosts from the past. The internet doesn't just remember, it resurrects.
Okay, but y'all, why did Tiny, T.I., and their son King, why they all get into it today on Instagram Live? Girl, so let me set this up for you because there is a clip. So the whole family was at the Falcons game today because T.I. was performing. I don't know who said what to King, but he went off. And it sounds like someone might have been joking with him and he just got crazy with everybody. And then it sounds like T.I. and King might have got physical with each other.
For T.I., a man who built a legacy on controlling the narrative, this loss of control was agony. He could protect his empire, but not his heir. And while he scrambled behind the scenes to secure his son's safety, lawyers, private investigators, negotiations, the damage in the court of public opinion was irreversible. Because while legal problems can be solved, reputational collapse is forever. The Harris dynasty, once seen as hip-hop royalty, was now a headline about downfall and dysfunction. And no amount of PR spin could erase the fact that one of the most privileged young men in Atlanta had turned his last name into a viral cautionary tale.
Any other time, I don't even call the police like for accidents. It ain't even no 911 call with my voice on it. If a motherfucker break in my house, I am not calling the police. I ain't doing it. You break in my car, steal some of my car, I am not calling the police. I ain't doing it.
Legacy collapse. By now, King Harris's name had become shorthand for wasted privilege. News outlets couldn't stop repeating the same narrative. The son of a legend becomes a lesson. Every update, real or fabricated, added fuel to the digital inferno. Meanwhile, inside the facility, King's life had changed drastically. Reports claimed he'd been moved to protective custody, isolated from the general population for his safety. Translation: solitary confinement, limited interaction, and no cameras, at least not officially. And yet new leaks kept surfacing. Photos, messages, anonymous insider accounts describing his breakdown, his silence, his anger. Some claimed he'd tried to fight back. Others said he'd gone quiet, refusing to speak to anyone but his lawyers. Whatever the truth, one thing was clear: his confidence was gone. The street king had been dethroned. Outside, the conversation shifted from entertainment to morality. The same people who once demanded his punishment now wondered if the system had gone too far. "He's still just a kid," one viral tweet read. "We wanted accountability, not a public execution." But sympathy comes too late in the age of social media. Once you've been memed, you've been immortalized. Meanwhile, conspiracy channels were making money hand over fist. YouTube was flooded with thumbnails of blurry jail footage and red arrows. Exposed the truth about King Harris's attack. Some claimed gang politics, others blamed rival cliques, and a few insisted the attack was orchestrated to humble him publicly, a symbolic breaking of the crown. Even T.I. couldn't escape the speculation. Old beefs were reignited. Rival artists threw subliminals in songs mocking the once proud King of the South for losing control of his family legacy. The Harris empire had turned from inspiration to spectacle, and the audience wasn't ready to look away.
Take my gun home.
Yes, sir.
There's one in the head.
Does your buddy have one as well?
There's guns in here.
All right, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
There's no safety, you gotta take.
There's no safety.
Behind the noise, though, lay something darker. Fame had always been T.I.'s greatest weapon, and now it was his family's curse. Every camera, every fan, every viral moment had built the illusion that they were untouchable. But as the world now saw, illusions break fast when the spotlight turns cruel. For King Harris, the bruises might fade, but the humiliation would not. Every replay of that video, every mocking comment, every think piece dissecting his downfall was another reminder that the internet doesn't forgive. It replays forever.
King, have you ever woke up with a roach on your face?
No, that's not the goal.
All right, then. So there it goes.
Or in your ear.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I got some in the neighborhood with me that broke up with roach in your ear. Y'all want to go to the bando in my neighborhood? Do y'all want to go to the bando?
Final reckoning. Weeks later, the noise still hadn't died. New clips kept surfacing, new insider stories kept trending, and King's name continued to dominate the algorithm. What started as a scandal had become a saga, a living, breathing soap opera that no one wanted to end. But beneath the spectacle, a truth lingered. King Harris's story wasn't just about a privileged kid caught in chaos. It was about a generation raised on performance, punished by reality. He'd turned his life into content, and content doesn't care who it destroys. T.I., once known for his lyrical wisdom, was left watching helplessly as his own warnings came true. The kingdom he built on music and meaning was cracking under the weight of internet culture. Fame had devoured its own air. Some fans still clung to hope, saying King could redeem himself, maybe even turn his pain into purpose. But redemption doesn't trend like disaster does. And as every new clip, quote, or rumor spread, the possibility of rebuilding grew slimmer. Because this was more than just a scandal, it was a cautionary prophecy fulfilled. The son who mocked the system ended up caged by it. The prince who flexed his crown had it knocked clean off his head.
What you want to do? What you want to do? You from here?
Yeah, I'm from here. Yeah, I'm from here.
All right, so.
Oh, hell, y'all, let's go.
What's up with you, bro? What's up with you, bro?
Let's go.
Putting your hand around me, talking out your ass like you want to do something. What's up, bro?
Oh, Lord.
What's up, bro?
Nothing.
What? Relax, or what?
Nothing.
Or what?
Nothing.
Or what? Because you just tried me like a hoe.
This could be a good.
Keep out your business, my nigga. Keep out your business.
I think he wants you to peel.
And so, as the dust settles, one question still echoes through the chaos. Will King Harris rise from this wreckage, or will he be remembered as the kid who mistook fame for freedom? Whatever the answer, the internet has already decided its version of the story. And once the timeline writes your obituary in memes, no apology, no PR statement, no redemption arc can erase it. King Harris's fall isn't just a scandal, it's a mirror, a reflection of fame's curse, ego's blindness, and the brutal honesty of consequence. One viral clip, one brutal night, and a lifetime of illusion shattered. The dynasty wobbles, the internet watches, and the world moves on, one meme at a time. Because in this era, downfall is content and content never dies.